Next up is The Irishman. I thought this was a great movie. The Golden Globes actually just happened a few days ago, and it was nominated for Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for Al Pacino, Best Supporting Actor for Joe Pesci, the director obviously Martin Scorsese, Best Drama, and Best Screenplay by Steven Zalian. And it was a very highly anticipated movie. I first heard about it, I want to say maybe like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. I had forgotten about it. And I was definitely looking forward to it, as most folks were. It's a Scorsese movie, a gangster movie. It's the first time Al Pacino and Robert De Niro were getting together, I think, since Heat. And it was for a Scorsese gangster movie to boot. So it was just awesome all around. Al Pacino does a great job at playing Jimmy Hoffa in the movie, the Teamsters union boss, who is notoriously known for supposedly being buried under home plate at Yankee Stadium because he pissed some mobsters off, but he was like affiliated with the mob. And the main thing that this movie was, which by the way was long as shit, 3 hours and a half, I believe, and it didn't feel that way at all. Like I wanted more after it was done. It took me 3 days to watch it, and I definitely still wanted more. I thought it was really dope. The message that I get from the movie, I can best state with a Robert Frost quote, which is, quote, "In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on," end quote. And that's what I get from it. And life happens regardless of the route that you take in it. Good, bad, indifferent. Life just happens. Robert De Niro, which does a fantastic job, plays a hitman for the mob. He's an Irish guy, but he's taken under the wing of Joe Pesci's character, who's a made guy in the Italian mafia. And De Niro is relentlessly loyal to a fault, but not to his family or even friends, to that G code, that gangster shit. That is seemingly all he knows, all he'll allow himself to understand and be okay with. He was a provider for his family financially, but that's it. That's where it ended. He had like zero emotional connection with his wife or kids. When his wife died, he pretty much went home after the funeral and just like grabbed her cigarettes that she had lying around and just tossed them in the trash, like as he was walking in through the door. He kind of sort of wanted to reconnect with his kids towards the end of his life, but even that felt like kind of forced. In the final scene of the movie, he is having a conversation with a priest that went to visit him at the home that he lived in. And he says to the priest as he walks out, "Father, do me a favor. Don't shut the door all the way. I don't like that. Leave it open a little bit." And I guess you could break that line down into meaning leaving the door open towards the like path of redemption, his not wanting to be all the way bad, and trying to balance that throughout his life, him not wanting the father to write him off as a lost cause, all that stuff, along with obviously the physicality of not closing the door all the way. And as the camera pans out, you see how small his life ended up being. You see him in a home by himself, in a chair, in a small room, surrounded by people just doing their jobs in the nursing home, and every personal connection that he's ever had just deteriorated around him. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. They played these like older gangsters, right? Joe Pesci specifically stole the show from me. He was like a cool, calm, and collected gangster for once, as opposed to all his other like gangster roles. But they even slid in like a nod to all his previous roles with like a one-liner when Pesci tells De Niro that fucking Jew, which I just took as like being an homage to the whole "you Jew motherfucker, you" famous Pesci line. So they played these older gangsters, and there's a lot of flashback scenes that were done with the actual actors. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, which are all older gentlemen, and they use CGI to make them like look younger. I heard a lot of people say, or a few people, I didn't really keep a tally, but I heard more than once People say that was distracting, that took away from the movie, that kind of like ruined it for them. But I honestly didn't even like notice it at all. So I thought it was like a dope job. It could be because I actually saw the movie on my phone while commuting like from home from work, like over 3 days. I just watched it on my phone. So maybe, the small screen and what's the output, like 480p or something like that on the phone. Maybe that's why I didn't like pick up on it. Maybe, at the theater or on a bigger TV screen, that comes out more. I guess I'll notice when I rewatch, but for me, it didn't like phase me at all. I didn't even notice it, at least not in a distracting way. And something else that was really dope is that there was a lot of like great actors in it. A lot of comics. Sebastian Maniscalco's in it. Jim Norton plays Don Rickles. Ray Romano's in it. Action Bronson's in it. Dasha Polanco's in it. Bobby Cannavale's in it. My boy Chip Rossetti. But yeah, definitely great movie. Worth a watch. You guys should check it out. The Irishman, now streaming currently on Netflix.